possibly a
Good afternoon.
How many of you, by raise of hand, were at the town of Troy? There, I know Supervisor Pellick was there, Tim was there, I know our administrator, John, was at the Beloit City Council meeting. I believe Chairman Diane, you were there as well. As a result of going to these meetings, we realized there were a couple things that we would like to tweak or change with our board. Number one, at the town turtle meeting that I was at, a lot of the residents came up and said they appreciated hearing from the board members. That they said, you know, we never knew what you were thinking and you know, about everything that was going on. So there were a number of people who said, we enjoyed hearing from you, and I thought, okay. So administrator, myself, we recommended that we would have board comments so that you could hear what we're thinking and feeling about everything that's happening. Again, it's not meant to be a debate or give and take, just like the participation. It's meant for us to tell you what we're thinking and feeling as well. The other thing that came up during those particular meetings dealt with citizen participation. And again, we made the recommendation that when you do citizen participation, that it could be on any topic at all. Could be on how many geese are pooping in your driveway. Could be kids on scooters. Could be where the next roundabout's gonna be. And yes, data center. So we open that up to say, whatever you wanna do for your 2 minutes, you know, feel free to do that. So those are two recommendations just to get you up to date as to some things that we are doing as a board. There could be some other things coming along, we're trying to figure that out, but two to start with there. President Lincoln gave Gettysburg Address in 272 words. It took 2 minutes. My comments are not going to be historical, but I do promise you they're going to be 2 minutes, the same as everyone else. Tim is the timekeeper for the afternoon, and so Tim, feel free. I hate AI. Do I get an amen on that one?
Amen.
I hate what social media has done to disconnect us as human beings. Something has come into our community that is unexpected and unwanted. It reminded me, quite honestly, of the movie Independence Day or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Remember when something that was so huge and so big and so scary that it just hung over that community and it created all of these reactions that almost turns into a Stephen King novel. There were people who were curious, some were ambivalent, I don't care, others angry, and even as we have found with this, hovering over our heads, hatred. And I hate that. So what I can tell you from my personal opinion and from the work that we are doing is that we are continuing the work of what needs to be done with this dark cloud hovering over our community. We have to follow a process. We have to follow procedures. I understand the frustration that has been expressed to me about things like, well, why can't you do this? And I would say, I'd love to. We just have to follow a process because we can be held liable for what we do. Your opinions never will be. And that's the wonderful magic you have of saying what you wish. We have to apply for certain processes so there's a rationale for what happens. So what I'm here to say is we continue to do the work, we continue to follow the processes, we continue to do the work, and we continue to do the processes. Tim, how much time did that take?
You got 4 seconds remaining.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I really appreciate as far as the number of people that are here, and I'm sorry that we didn't have more chairs. But the one thing that has kind of hit my eye, and I had a person come up and talk to me, and it was a simple comment as far as, why is the board already making this a done deal? And it's not, okay? The misinformation that's out there, it's not. We're not going into the back of some dark room and talking about things and keeping information from you. Again, like Steve said, it's a process. And you have to understand, we live here too. I have the same concerns that you have. I have a grandchild that lives down in Bartels who has asthma, bad, you know, so I'm concerned about the environmental aspects. I've done my own research, and I know that in the 10 years that data centers have been around, that electricity cost has went up 250%. That the CO2 count has went up 52% in a lot of these areas. And the decibels of sound and everything like that. I've read those things. You know, and what we have to do as the board is to make decisions on factual information. And the only way we can do that is get that factual information from a company that we hire that's going to give us that information. And I know that, I'll tell you right now, yeah, if the air quality is gonna be bad, I don't want it, okay? I don't want it. But we have to do those processes. We have to be fair to our entire public. And that's the same way with this agreement that we're looking at today, okay? And that fairness is that there's no cost to the public. That's all I can say.
And thank you all for coming tonight.
Wait, we got other board members? Oh, you're going, I thought you were waiting till last, my apologies. Sorry.
I just want to thank you all for coming tonight. Our neighbors from Trill are here also. I don't know if any people from Rock are here too, but I thank you all for coming. We have tried to implement the best practices possible so that everyone that wishes to speak can get time to speak. That's why we have a 2-minute limit, because there's obviously a very concerned segment of people that would like to talk. We are working very hard and very diligently to find the proper environmental and financial experts. We have our auditors looking at our financial responsibilities and availabilities, I guess you would say. We need to get verified factual information if this project is going to continue. The agreement that we have tonight, the cost reimbursing agreement, is not a commitment for the project at all. It is merely for us to do the necessary research by experts that know what to ask and what to tell us. So with that, we will continue to hopefully learn more as we go and make a decision that is best in the entire town, in the area. Thank you. Carl?
I'll pass it down to John Kellogg.
Were you gonna say something, Carl?
No, pass it.
Oh, you did, okay, I'm sorry. Then I'm next. We got off to a bad start with this thing, with the non-disclosure agreement that was signed by our previous administrator. And I just want everybody to know and assure all the people in the audience that we had nothing to do with the non-disclosure agreement. And we were caught off guard by it also. And we were not trying to hide anything. That has been corrected, and we voted, after that was done, we voted to never have any non-disclosure agreements in the future. From the beginning, this has been hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, from Alliant, from Meta, from Panettone, from the Kennedys, and I don't like being pushed, especially when the pusher is asking for a favor, okay? And I thought from the beginning, we've been getting the bum's rush with this thing, and I don't like it. I don't like also the fact that we might be, with this site being abandoned out there, we're giving up the opportunity, and this is an economic concept, the opportunity cost. There's always an opportunity cost when you do something. If you build one thing, you can't build another. And we're giving up, if we go with this huge enterprise, we're giving up the chance of using that site once it's reclaimed by the Kennedys, which they haven't done yet, for something else in the future. And it could be used for many other businesses in the future. And I don't think we want to give up, or do we really want to give up? And something the board has to consider is, do we want to give up that option? My concern when I first got on the board was, one of my major concerns was with zoning, and zoning changes. And the effect that zoning changes had to do with property owners that adjoined it or were close to these zoning changes. And I don't think there's any question that my first thought was, what about the Rockville Trailer Park just north in Rock Township? For God's sake, these people, of all people, are going to have to put up with this thing, put right there. They're not in our township, they're not our voters, but I was very concerned about them. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
That's time.
And then, when you get, pardon me?
They asked for the 2-minute time, that was the 2 minutes. If you want to
Keep going, John, keep going.
Keep going, just go, give another minute.
Will you indulge me? But my immediate thought was to them, and then it widened out to the property values and the quality of life of the entire township, with a facility that's so large it's going to change multiple things in our township. Label me really a huge skeptic on this whole project. I see little benefit for this project right now, for the township and for its citizens, and multiple risks on many fronts, which many of you already are very well aware of. I believe at the end of the day, this data center will not be built, but that remains to be seen. I still have to listen to all sides, as I have. I've been to meetings at the Black Hawk Tech, at Turtle, in the city of Beloit, and other meetings also. At several of those gatherings, I noticed, and I want to comment and say that I take great pride, and it gives me great pleasure to see that several of my former students have gotten up and talked about this. And it does my heart good, because I tried to teach them to be critical thinkers, and my classroom was very raucous. I mean, it was pretty wild sometimes, with a lot of banter going back and forth with the students, and I'm very proud that they have stood up, and I'm very proud of the people in the township that have discussed and spoke up about the many issues that are surrounding such a huge change proposed by our community. I encourage these people, these students, these young students, or they're now adults, I encourage them, though, to run for office, because in our country, the government is us. It's us, from DC to the local school board. It's us. We are the ones that have to do it. I encourage them to step up and run for office, serve on commissions, serve on committees, and help out where they can. Do what they can. The people of this area have spoken up, and they have done a great job of doing it. In the 54 years that I've been in Beloit Township, this is the greatest outpouring I've seen on any single public issue. I think that's awesome and inspiring. Lincoln at Ottawa in 1858 in the debate with Douglas said, in this age and in this country, public sentiment is everything. And with public sentiment, nothing can fail. And against public sentiment, nothing can succeed. And I look forward to hearing some public sentiment from you tonight. Thank you.
To the board, I think we have to make a motion on this, but the number of people and the number of slips that have been turned in, I would like to make a motion to extend that time limit.
Second.
Moved in second to the number of cars that we had turned in. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is citizens' participation. Each person that has to complete a public comment card and be given to the town clerk before the meeting begins. Each individual may speak once for a maximum there is no yielding of time to any individual. Speakers must come to the podium and state their name and address. Comment time was limited to 30 minutes. We will suspend the limit until all the cards are read. I'm sorry. Public hearings will be limited to 30 minutes unless told, extended by board action, which we just did. Thank you very much. And this will begin with the first card.
All right, first card I have here is from Shelley Stroman. Shelley, read it up. Right there.
All right, what do you need out of me first?
Name and address.
Okay, Shelley Stroman, 6555 South Kruger Drive, Beloit, Town of Rockers. For months, this community has been asking for transparency, answers, and protections before moving forward. Instead, we've been forced to sit in silence while agreements change, negotiations continue, deadlines speed up, while the public has been asked to trust the process with zero input. Now, we have heard that even after the town of Turtle voted to approve their own reimbursement agreement, the developer is asking for changes. That should concern every one of you. If there's already this much back and forth over a cost reimbursement agreement, why should anyone believe the rest of the process will be any easier? Earlier this month, Town Administrator John Lazio told me that Panatoni wants this process wrapped up by the end of this year. What's the rush? Why should we accept that project with consequences that could last generations that's being driven by an end-of-year deadline? If this is approved tonight, how can the town realistically agree to complete the comprehensive studies and meaningful public engagement that a project of this magnitude requires before the end of the year? This isn't just another regular project. The decisions you make beginning today will affect this community for generations. Stop being rushed by a developer with no real interest in the future of our community. Adopt a moratorium, write ordinances, put enforceable protections in place before you consider moving this project one step forward. You weren't elected to meet a developer's deadline. You were elected to speak for and protect the people who put you in those seats. You only get one chance to make this first decision, and once this process gains momentum, it becomes so much harder to stop. Please make sure your next step is the right one. And then I want to add to the end here, I went over the agreement, the Panatoni agreement, and nowhere in there did I see any protections for the town of Beloit canceling. Where are our protections? There's plenty of protections in there for Panatoni to cancel this when they desire.
That's time.
There's plenty of protections in there to cancel this only by moving forward. So where is the protection for the town of Beloit and its people?
The next card I have here is Julie Bradley and M. Bradley.
Julie Bradley and Ed Bradley. Julie Bradley.
So he was on deck
Yeah.
next,
Yeah.
and then, so they can be ready.
No, this is one that Sue filled out earlier.
Oh, okay.
Okay. There- All right, so the next, I have Brian Schaefer next, followed by Dave Stern.
Neighbors in the hallway?
The doors are closed.
There's people outside here.
folks outside would like to be able to see.
Yeah, it's like a whole group out there.
But if they can't, what do they need to see?
I don't know how to do
Okay. I was just rereading the second one that I called out, that one. Dave, I saw somebody shaking his head.
Dave Stern.
Might be outside.
You said you did go sign up.
Dave Sterna, you're up.
You talking
He's
now?
not speaking. He's right here. He's not speaking.
You said you did sign the card.
Okay,
Okay, and that was Ryan.
Dave Stern.
There you go.
All right, then we have Jenny Kringle, followed by Linda Wallace.
Jimmy's not here.
Linda Wallace.
I'm here, I'm trying.
Okay. And then on deck will be Natalie Scholl.
I have to say my statement's changed a little bit from your wonderful open admission. Thank you. We've needed to hear that for months and months and months. Okay. Hi, I'm Linda Wallace. I'm a resident of Beloit. Stories include heroes and villains. In Rock County, our story is being written in real time. High drama, high stakes, huge life-altering changes to all our lives and our precious environment are being considered by very tiny groups of people. Did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams you'd be asked to make such an enormous life-altering change for the health, safety, welfare, and the environment of your community, of our communities? Each of you can choose to be remembered as the heroes of this story, or forever remembered in vile, dark, despised terms as the eternal villains of this story of the data centers here in Rock County. You have the power to stop this plague in its tracks. You do not have to agree to accept one more penny in reimbursement money. Don't sign the cost reimbursement agreement. No is a complete sentence. The lack of transparency from this board has made people very angry and suspicious. What are you hiding? I will skip the next few words I have for you. If you allow data centers to be built here in Rock County, you will not survive another term in office. You will be remembered as the villains in this story, those who opened the gates of destruction. Your action will cause our precious aquifers to become depleted and possibly even contaminated forever. You can't clean an aquifer. Worse air pollution, endless sound pollution. Given the pace and growth of technology, this version of data centers will become obsolete within 5 to 7 years. Then what? I don't really know how you could sleep at night knowing you did not listen to your community, knowing the blame for all this will be on your consciences, your soul. Or you could just as easily be remembered as the heroes who stood up and said no.
All right, so the next will be Natalie Scholl, followed by Bill Perkins.
Natalie Scholl, 755 East Dogwood Drive. I had something prepared, but you guys are kind of hitting some of the marks. Thank you very much for listening to people and opening up the floor. That is a huge start and a huge win. My heartstring part is the school. 1,500 feet from an elementary school, with the sound that will be emitted from there. At whatever 50% rate Panatone tried to put on their poster board, we don't know. We don't know if it's 50% of when it's quiet, 50% of highest drilling noise they have out there. We don't know because unlike when we were taught in school, most of our generations, you were taught to cite your findings. not Wikipedia for obvious reasons, but you were taught to cite them. Their poster boards were not transparent. They tried to say that they had all these studies, but from where? The 50% noise, from what? I tried to ask them, they couldn't give me an answer. When it came to Alliant, I tried to ask them, what about the capping of rates? They said, well, we've got 5 years. We will cap your rates in 5 years. When I asked them 5 years from now, 5 years from when you sign, 5 years from when they break ground, or 5 years from when it is done. Unfortunately, even if it's done 5 to 7 years from now, you're talking 10 to 12 years, the rates will go up. Fine, by all means, whatever, the rates have already gone skyrocketing, people can barely afford to live nowadays. The hard part is in this community, I have found out since moving here in 2020, in hopes of the great schools and the great activities and the great community, that unfortunately, for the people who want to live here, 12 years is not long enough. You're talking people who are here 30, 40, 50, 60 years in their same home and want to continue to live here and afford to live here for the same reasons and the same benefits that they originally purchased their homes decades ago. So I hope that when you guys do all of your findings, that you are transparent and that you hire people who are not biased, not third parties that have any other interest in this, other than the benefit of the people who are asking for those studies. Thank you.
All right, so next is Bill Perkins, followed by Cindy Foltz.
Anyhow, Bill Perkins, 5120 East County Road S, and I'll probably make you speak for Cindy. But, long story short, is I wasn't coming here to speak tonight because I see the turnout, and I'd rather hear from your townspeople, because I live in the town of Turtle. But I can tell you folks tonight, come up here and say what you want to say, because after we listened, and I appreciate every one of these town board members speaking a little bit about the feelings they have, but our town board did the same thing. And at the end of that meeting, they smoked us and they voted to take the money. So tonight, come up and say what you need to say to this board, no matter what they just said to you. And I do appreciate them, because sometimes you don't get to hear from them. But come up and say what you need to say tonight. Don't take that as a light, some kind of disheartening situation, because at the end of the meeting, our board flipped on us and they turned around and voted to take the money anyhow. So that's all I need to say. You folks come up here and say what you need to say to them tonight. Thank you.
Cindy, you want to speak?
No, I don't. We never done anything, I'm not sure where that one.
Okay. Next I have Terry Hinkle, followed by John Ties, who's the president who wanted to speak.
One's here, just trying to get through it.
Okay.
Dr. John Ticey, 3165 West Creekview Parkway, Beloit, Wisconsin. So we live on an aquifer, and water is essential. And what could happen or might happen, and the benefits or the detriments have to be fully understood. We cannot move forward without understanding, as somebody has already said, you can't clean the aquifer, and everybody's on a well. Whether you have a personal well or whether you're getting city water that's coming from a well, we're all drinking the same water. And that's not even to mention the concerns about the sound and being close to schools and the air quality. We already don't have great air quality because of the plants, and with increased production and this liquefied natural gas or whatever the new thing is gonna put more contaminants into our air, we have to understand the full scope, right? And we have to have a legitimate third party, somebody who understands the science, who can cite what is needed, and understands research and how to do research in a neutral way. We have to have something that we can put our hands on before we can get to any sort of conversation around making decisions. And as a researcher, to try and do that and understand these things fully by December, unique to Rock County, unique to the river that's, 500 yards from here, to understand that by December, enough that you guys can make a decision in December is absolutely, that's crazy talk. That is not able to be done, not rigorous research, not research that could be vetted or published. You're never gonna get that kind of research done in just a couple of months that we have before the end of the year. That is impossible. So you've got to push back against this nefarious or nebulous time limit. Thank you.
Next up, we have Stephanie Meyer, followed by James Sands.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Meyer. I live at 1038 East Birchwood in the town of Beloit. I know about you guys don't know anything about me. I am a nurse. I work at 2 local hospitals. I work with the public of this county every day. I'm married to a public servant in this town. And the town of Beloit was so special to us. We lived, prior to this, my husband was in the Marine Corps. We were lucky enough to live coast to coast in some of the most beautiful places, and we chose the town of Beloit. We came home to the town of Beloit. So I have 2 just really simple questions for you guys. You can choose to answer them or not. First, if so many residents have already adamantly voiced their concerns against the building of a hyperscale data center, not just a data center, but a hyperscale data center in my front yard, literally in my front yard, by writing to you, on social media, to their neighbors, to me in the clinic, why are we continuing to explore this? The pros, the cons, why are we continuing to go down this path without so much as a public referendum or vote?
Right.
I'm so thankful for all of you and your commitment to the town of Beloit, but these are the people that matter. You work for these guys, and I realize that this is just a reimbursement. I understand that. I do. I've done my research, but I want to know why we're going to continue to go forward when you don't have the support to go forward, even just for exploring. And if you're unwilling to take a vote or a public referendum, the most important question is what level of public opposition from the people here tonight, from the people of the town of Beloit, from the people of Rock County, will it take for this board to decide not to go forward with a cost reimbursement? What level of opposition is that going to take for you guys to hear that we don't want a data center?
Ma'am, I want to just say something to you. The referendum idea was exactly mine. And townships cannot put items like this up for a referendum. Villages and cities can, but the township, school boards can. But townships by state law do not have that power. Otherwise, I would certainly suggest it when we were discussing it.
I appreciate you explaining this to me, but what level of opposition will it take?
Oh, I know. I get it.
From all of these people. Have you ever had a town board meeting this big?
No.
Welcome to the future.
Thank you.
Next we have James Sands, followed by Lori Cartoon.
Sands, 2577 White Oaks Drive. I guess in the last 3 months, talked to a lot of people, and I haven't met anyone who is in favor of the data center. I know like 20, 30 years ago, most people would probably have more emotional reasons for it, but I think nowadays, everyone I talk to is pretty well informed. And it's not just normal everyday people around, but you talk to IT guys and like computer networking executives. Nobody is really happy about the rapid build out of the data centers. For them, they're really worried about keeping up with cybersecurity. But now it seems like everyone I talk to is not worried about whether you're going to say yes or no. It's more about whether you're going to be forced into saying yes. They're worried that maybe we have some loopholes or laws that are inadequate for this type of situation. Some of them are worried that the developers will try to play townships or cities against each other, which is, it seems like that's what Turtle is worried about. Or like Saline Township in Michigan, they voted no against the development, and the developer came back and sued them and forced them into taking it. So I mean, that's something we're worried about. It seems like you're leaning towards a cost reimbursement out of due diligence. It seems kind of like a slippery slope. If we already don't want it, are we acting in bad faith, taking the money if we already know that we want to say no? And that's kind of something that I think is where people are a little bit against the cost reimbursement. So, do we need experts when you got 12 states and 5 counties around who've already done the moratorium? I guess that's
Lori Huntoon, 3909 East County Road J, Beloit. So Aldo Leopold, who wrote much of his land ethic right here in Wisconsin, said that a thing is right when it preserves integrity, stability, and beauty of the land, and wrong when it does otherwise. He wasn't just talking about soil or wildlife. He was talking about the whole system that we depend on, including the water underneath our feet that we can't see and too often don't think about until it's unavailable or negatively impacted. That's exactly what's in front of this board tonight. As a professional geologist licensed by the state of Wisconsin, number 8, which makes me really old, I bring 30 years of experience to this discussion. I'm not against development. I'm for responsible development. What concerns me most as a hydrogeologist is that more than 200 data center bills were introduced across 50 states in 2025, and the legislation activity is continuing into 2026 because the regulatory framework is still trying to catch up to the pace of construction. The questions I asked is, where will the water source come from? I haven't seen any definitive information on this. Where will wastewater go? And don't believe the rhetoric about closed loop systems. They can potentially cause leaks, and they contain 30 to 50% glycol. Please ensure that any hired companies are not already working with dated companies on other projects. Please ensure the project demonstrates no significant adverse impact. That's the kind of standard this board should be asking for before, not after approval. Groundwater does not stop at geopolitical boundaries. All of Rock County cares about what's happening here in town of Beloit. I asked this board to get real answers on water source, water withdrawal volume, and drought contingency. Or better yet, scrap this project right now. Wisconsin environment should not be for sale. Don't vote for out-of-state interests. Look around this room. Vote with your community. Leopold's test still applies. Does this preserve the integrity of what we depend on, or does it quietly draw it down for someone else's benefit? What do you want to be your legacy? Thank you.
Okay, next we have Dr. Ronna Duncan Hargreaves, followed by Pete Demas.
Hello.
I was here 2 weeks ago, at a meeting, and there really was nobody here, it was maybe about 3 of us, and they had proposed a new subdivision of 126 houses. Well, there was deep discussion about a park. They were all arguing, oh, we want a park. I'm thinking how humorous this is, that you've got a data center across from a subdivision but they're concerned about a park. With a 58% increase in childhood cancer within 1 mile of a data center. 58%. We've got, my granddaughter's gonna be going to these schools. My kids just bought a house here. Whoever thought Beloit was gonna grow like this and people are proud to live here? We need to stay here. We need to be proud. I have lived here 19 years in Rock Township, 19 years in Beloit Township, and my parents were here at 40 years. My mother, Marlene Duncan, was a part of Beloit Township that got you guys city water when people were getting cholera in the 80s. I am active in this. I am passionate about it. Some of the things are, you know, the company can't tell us how much water, how much electricity, or CO2 is being produced. Okay? Company can't even, they've not even made one before. How can they tell us anything? They can't. I mean, NVIDIA has proposed data centers as small as the palm of your hand. That's how bad. We need an 18-month moratorium at least. If we're going to put a data center in, please, to let the technology catch up to itself. They are proposing and making brand new data centers that are totally green. That are totally green without water. They are making them as we speak. There's 2 companies that I just read an article today because I'm keeping up with this. So please listen to us. We want at least an 18-month to let us look at everything. And my water's gonna be affected. I'm 3 miles away with an equine therapy facility. I'm not gonna have water, I know it. It's coming straight out of the well right now, clean. How many people can say that? It's coming out clean. There's really nothing in it. We've tested everything and there's nothing in it, but there will be. Thank you.
All right, next is Pete Demas, by Val Brown Anderson.
Hi, my name is Pete Demas, 792 West Big Hill Road, Beloit. I want to thank the board for being here. You folks have a frickin' tough job right now. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. I do appreciate your public service. I wanted to mention right at the beginning, thank you, John Pellet. Thank you, Turner High School. You taught people well. First, I wanted to say, having a venue this small when there's an anticipation of how many people sucks buttermilk pancakes, don't do it. Give us room. Rent a hall, do something so that the people can speak. We respect you. You respect us. We're supposed to be neighborly and kind, and I am. And I care, and I have heart. The way this thing has come around is not in the best benefit of everybody here. It's too fast, it's going too fast. I originally wanted to say that we could have a moratorium so we can think this thing through. Mainly because we wrestled with the idea of a village a while back. I was a proponent of it, mainly because I didn't want the city annexing any more of Beloit Township. I think Roger Anclamp from Turtle Township feels that pain after what he's been through. But now I don't feel that way. Now I think tonight is a no. Tonight is a no. No moving forward with any of this. We already have the stats. You've got the figures out there. Beyond anecdotal evidence about data centers and what they do to the land around them. This is more than that. There's a ton of news out there. We've got all the information we need. We do not need a study. We don't need a study. We need to say, once again, I respect the board and everything you do. I really am appreciative that all these people are here. This thing can be squashed tonight. If not, you better have a venue to hold 500 or 600 people.
That's right.
Right, next is Val Brown Anderson, followed by Judy Oswald.
Val Brown Anderson, 2031 South Genevieve Court in town of Beloit. According to a Pew Research Center analysis, there are more than 3,000 data centers in the U.S. and another 1,500 in development. While polling shows that 7 in 10 Americans oppose the construction of a data center in their communities. So our concerns as town of Beloit residents is not out of the ordinary. I am opposed to the town of Beloit data center for many reasons, from the negative environmental impact, which I believe it will cause, pollution of the water, the air, the noise pollution, and how it will take away the beautiful green rural landscape which I love living in the Beloit area. I am also concerned about the potential utility costs increases for me and my neighbors. What if Alliant Energy needs to upgrade a substation to handle the increased needs of the data center? Would the cost of this investment be passed on to everyone, since we all are using the same electrical grid? I also have concerns about Alliant Energy possibly using eminent domain to obtain private land for public use to build transmission lines which the data center would need for their massive power use that can stress electrical grids. I was gonna say I'd like to ask for an 18-month moratorium, but like everyone else, I asked that we would just squash this all together, not have the data center at all. Nobody wants it. I think it would be a detriment to our community. I don't see any relevant positive that could come out of the data center. I know you all have a decision to make, and I respect you for your decision, but I would just request that we not have the data center at all. I appreciate the board for giving me the opportunity to express my concerns. Thank you.
Next is Judy Oswald, followed by Shelley Perry.
My name is Judy Oswald, 1978 Meadow Drive, Beloit. My vote is no. I don't believe that we should have this in our community. I don't feel it's a positive move for our community, and the fact how large this data center is. I work in the health field, and I don't feel the issue about what is being said about other data centers, the rare bacteria in the water. I feel that that needs to be researched. I mean, it's a group of people that need to go to a data center and see how is that impacting other areas of the communities that they're being put in. Port Washington, 24/7, there's dust flying in the air. Has anybody gone up to Port Washington, the one that they're doing up there? I feel it will cause a very bad impact on the health of people in the community. And the noise factor. Right now, I work with people who have ringing in the ears. You're gonna have a lot of ringing in the ears with the noise that's gonna be in the air if we have this, if we go through with this. And also I have concerns about the energy impact with our community. We have a good community here, small community. Why do we need to enlarge it to that capacity? So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak, and thank you very much.
Next is Shelley Perry, followed by Emily Allen.
Hi there, Shelley Perry, 3182 South Bars Hills. There hasn't been a soul in here who hasn't said exactly what I've thought. And I don't mean to be harsh, because the one thing I know, they're like, well, both ways deserve respect. These guys give all out of their time, and good on you, man, because I'm telling you, you're facing some strong opposition. And I can honestly say that I've known the Northrops for, I don't know, since the world started, okay? And they're good people. His son, his grandchildren live houses away from me. There's nothing that I'm concerned about that I do not believe Ron is not concerned about. I know that he is. I know that you all feel you need to do due diligence. My question I do is, who's the town attorney? Questions for you, Julie. What are my biggest concern right now? Did you study this the way you should have? Where was the protection for not the town, but for us? We can talk about it later. I don't know why, but you upset me because as an attorney, you're to protect all of us.
Right.
And have anticipation for what could come in these contracts. That bothers me. The sale of our homes, okay? I've been in real estate for 30 years. I'm a little concerned in 1 year and 2 years what my condo, my retirement fund, truthfully, is gonna be worth. Who's gonna wanna move here? I don't. Absolutely not. Joe Rose. Yeah, I know your wife too. I'm just saying, I know that you have a hard, I wouldn't want to be, let's just put it that way. And I do respect and I hope that you do what I think you're going to do for our community. Thank you.
Next is Emily Allen, followed by John Schlick.
Yep.
So Emily Allen. Right.
Hi, my name is John Schlick, N3927, County Road C, Darien, Wisconsin, 53114. Nobody wants the data centers, and nobody up by me wants to power them. I live right on the edge of the solar field, and we thought that was enough, but they've come in for more. If you guys want to kill this power source, the town of Darien is, We Energy is going to buy this gas plant to power this data center. And if you want to kill the power source, go to the PSC website, State of Wisconsin PSC website, and file a complaint against it and help everybody in the community. It's public knowledge, so we'll be able to see if your board members here filed a complaint against it, see if they're really true to their word. I'm not going to take up any more of your guys' time, but I hope you guys get it. Thank you very much.
What was that website again?
Wisconsin PSC website. Just file a comment against the Foundry Ridge Energy Project.
Next is Shannon Ludwig, followed by Jessica Bradley.
Hi, my name is Shannon Ludwig. I live at 3280 Southwest House. I lived in the township here and I was actually on this board for some time. I served on the Parks Committee with Joe for 20 years. And I was always proud to be a township person. I had a lot of pride in this community for how we conducted business and how we treated our people. I left for only 4 years and I was not happy where I moved. I moved back. Now I'm not sure I made the best decision because of what's going on here tonight. You know, when you buy a house, they have to disclose everything about the house, and I really wish they would have disclosed what was going on when I bought my house. Because had I known what was the possibility tonight, I would have never purchased that home. I would have gone somewhere else. You know, when a kid goes to mom and dad and wants a cookie and they say no, the kid sneaks in the kitchen and they reach in that cookie jar, what do? They turn around to see if mom and dad are coming, because they know what they're doing is wrong. That document that was signed behind closed doors, with no public eyes, no public ears, no public involvement. They knew it was wrong, and that's why it was done the way it was done. They knew it, but they went forward anyways, and then they left. So they created this mess, and they're out of here. We're the ones that have to live with it, not them. I live right around the corner from that thing. I do not want to live around the corner from that. You know, I saw they're gonna build possibly all these new homes in that cornfield behind me, and I was actually excited. I thought that was a great thing. Wonderful for development. Who's gonna wanna buy those homes? Nobody. There's houses already up for sale, up and down the street, because they've heard about this and they don't wanna be here. So instead of bringing people to our township, people are gonna stay away. They're not gonna wanna be here. I was gonna ask to have us put on a ballot, and I thank you for checking into that. So because we can't have a ballot, consider this your election day. And every single person coming up here, we're submitting our ballot, yes or no. This is what we want for our community. And I have, as of yet, have not heard one yes. You know,
That's time.
I just will end by saying, we voted for you to speak for us. Don't just speak for yourselves, continue to speak for us, because that's why we're there.
Next I have Jessica Bradley, followed by Sam Nemitz.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I live 725 Liberty, Beloit. I've been a resident of Beloit for over 15 years. I've watched the city grow and change, and truthfully, I love Beloit. That's why I'm here today. I have concerns about bringing a data center to Beloit. Let's be honest, these facilities use an unbelievable amount of electricity and water. Those are two things none of us can live without. We rely on them every single day. Everything is already expensive: gas, groceries, rent, and utilities keep going up. This project will lead to higher electricity costs for residents, and the last thing Beloit families need is to pay even more for basic necessities. The Wisconsin Public Service Commission recently released a draft report projecting that Wisconsin's peak electricity demand could be increased by more than 40% by 2032, driven largely by the growth of large data centers. That's something every resident is paying attention to. Let's talk about the tax incentives. Beloit has a history of offering them to tech companies. I think it's fair to ask whether taxpayers are getting a good return on that investment. If a company wants to come here, it should benefit the people who already live here, not just the company's bottom line. My second concern is our electrical grid. We've been lucky that when the power goes out, it's fixed pretty quickly. Wisconsin regulators are already discussing who should pay for the electrical infrastructure these facilities require. Beloit residents shouldn't have to worry about footing that bill. Another concern is the backup diesel generators. When the power goes out, those generators kick on, and that means more emissions in the air. As a nurse, I see firsthand how many people struggle with asthma, COPD, heart disease, and other chronic health conditions. Air quality isn't just an environmental issue, it's a health issue. We live here, we're the ones who have to breathe that air, and it's not reasonable to ask the community to do that. Then there's the land. This proposal could use roughly 430 acres. Once we give that land away, we don't get it back. Data centers take up hundreds of acres but create very few permanent jobs compared to many other types of development. I'd rather see that land used for businesses that create more long-term jobs and more opportunities for the people who actually live here. People don't move to Beloit hoping to live next to a massive industrial data center. They move here to raise families, enjoy our parks, and be part of the community. I'm not saying Beloit shouldn't grow, I'm saying Beloit deserves growth that puts its residents first. At the end of the day, we live here, and we're the ones who have to deal with the consequences of this decision long after today's meeting is over. We should be the ones whose voices matters most. And years from now, when people look back on this decision, will they say it made Beloit a better place to live, or just a more profitable place for someone else? Thank you.
Next up is Sam Nemitz, followed by
Sam's in the hall, can somebody get him?
Kate Engler? Right next to that is Kate Engler, followed by John Turner. Okay.
John, get up there.
John Turner. And then after John is Suzanne Wilson.
Good evening. I am impressed with the number of speakers who have got up here and spoke with knowledge and with passion. And I don't know if I can do as good a job as they have done, but I'll give it a shot. My name is John Turner. I live at 3469 South Black Road, 50 yards from the proposed site. That doesn't make me happy at all. Black Road will probably become Data Center Way. My wife, Connie, and I have lived in this property for 25 years. I have the same concerns that a lot of you have as far as property value. We spent a lot of money fixing up our property, and now if we try to sell it, it'd probably be worth a lot less. My wife said it'd be worthless, but I don't know about that. We're concerned about our well drying up. We're concerned about the constant noise. And we do live with noise out there. We live with noise from the gun club. We live with noise from a Zynga, but it's not 24/7. I was a high school math teacher at Beloit Turner for 38 years, and I think I'm fairly good with numbers. And these numbers aren't mathing. I'm currently serving my 5th term as a school board member of Beloit Turner High School Education. I believe that the Turner District has done a good job of meeting the needs of our residents. We've had some opposition over the 15 years. We've been able to work through it with the residents. We had some opposition to open enrollment. But most people in here know that open enrollment has kept the Turner District solvent. Over 25% of our students are open enrolled. They come in usually in kindergarten or elementary school, and they are our students. I couldn't tell you if it was a regular student, a resident student, or an open enrolled student most of the time, unless they ask me for a ride home, because they don't have transportation on their buses.
Sir, that's time.
That's it?
The time is
Can I have a little bit more?
Sure.
Just one more sentence. Okay, let me close by mentioning that the school district had 3 referendums. I know John indicated that you cannot do that, but we had to pair it with renovations to our middle school and high school STEM program, and that's been very successful. I believe the building has good for our students, staff, and community. Will the township be able to say the same thing regarding this project in 8 years? Thank you.
Thank you guys. My name is Kate Engler. And I know Mr. Turner beat me in the 800. 2 laps around the track. So I know a couple of you, hi Ron, and I know Mr. Pella, of course, from Mr. Turner. I just want to state that I'm firmly against data centers, and instead of boring you talking about the obvious negative impacts, I just wanna focus on what this moment in time is showing us. It's showing us that the systems that we all live under will continue to push us and demand our compliance and participation in the degradation of our way of life. I'm not talking about US systems, I'm talking about like the man. In a world as complex as ours, there's so few topics that elicit unanimous reactions, and yet data centers do. And I think one of the main reasons for that reaction, a reason that I haven't heard many people talk about, is that we're exhausted. As individuals and as a society, we're exhausted from defending ourselves and asking for our most basic needs to be met in a manipulative system. We get little to no say in how we live our lives. Meanwhile, the ultra-rich and the big business can create empires that rely on coercion, exploitation, and destruction, and we're supposed to be okay with that. We have become so disconnected from nature that we entertain and allow companies to destroy our environment. As Chief Seattle said, what we do to Earth, we do to ourselves. Data centers present a unique for municipalities across the country, whether we want to continue with business as usual or whether we want to start to sever that hold that these manipulative companies have over us. We're tired of being taken advantage of, but we're also tired of people not doing the right thing. It takes a lot of guts to do the right thing in a society that continuously rewards bad behavior. But I think if we want to give future generations any hope for a better world, we need to start modeling good behavior. And that means standing up for what's right when we can and as soon as we can. I would like to think that all of you are good people who want to do the right thing. And I hope you can join the rest of us and firmly stand against data centers and start to end the manipulative hold that big business has on all of us. And if not, like my man Stevie Wonder likes to say, heaven help the man who kicks the man who has to crawl, heaven help the people with their backs against the wall.
Next was Suzanne Marson, followed by Ingrid Daughter.
I'm Suzanne Larson and I live at 3315 West Creekview Parkway. A lot of my topics have already been covered by my fellow neighbors and friends, so I just want to touch on a few things. I'm speaking tonight to express my hope that you will stop the construction of the data center in the town of Beloit. At very least, we should hit the pause button on any proposed construction, allowing time for a review of environmental effects it may cause in the area, along with the quality of life and neighborhood impacts such as the light and noise pollution, which other people have already talked about. The current possible location for the data center is within a couple miles of my home. Its location will most likely decrease my property value and potentially prevent me from selling my house in the future. I also am a lifetime citizen of Beloit, and then in time, my husband and I saved money and we moved out to the town of Beloit. We were looking for a home as our family was expanding. There were not a lot of 4-bedroom homes, so we found a wonderful plot in the town and built one. And my home, it's my oasis. It was like the American dream. We saved, and we bought a house and built it, and we loved it out there. It's quiet, it's very peaceful. And I don't want some company to come in and just take it away from all of us. Another thing nobody has really talked about is the United States is a massive country. There has to be areas where we can build these data centers, if necessary, that are not in residential communities. Also, we are a very ingenuitive people. We can come up with ways to build these centers that are safer. I hear China has many data centers that are ran purely on solar. We just need more time to investigate a safer way to do this.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Ingrid Daughter, followed by Janice McCarthy.
Hi, Ingrid Daughter, 3508 Oak Hill Avenue in the town of Rock. I have a proposal. I heard a few mention about referendums, and I wanted to just mention that I have worked on township referendums in the past. I worked on the Dunkirk one for development rights. I've worked on special service district referendums, and so yes, we can do a referendum. It would just be an advisory or initiative referendum, and I have the documents here that I just wanted, so I'm going to read this. So ballot measures and referendums are one of the most direct forms of democracy in the United States. While they empower voters, override legislative gridlock, and advance policies unpopular with lawmakers, but popular with voters. I propose that instead of the board meetings making the more restrictive for citizens to share their opinions, that we the citizens move forward on a referendum for the fall ballot and put this issue to the community vote. We have more than 90 days to do that. Whether the referendum is worded as a moratorium or as a yes-no vote on data centers, it allows everyone in our community to have a say and removes ambiguity for the board on a vision and direction our community wants the board to take. Other communities have done similar referendums on development rights, special service districts, and other large-scale issues that impact the entire community. Proposed wording for the community referendum on AI data centers. So this is what I've written on the proposal I sent around. So the community protection against AI data centers, the preamble, recognizing the potential impacts of artificial intelligence, data centers on our community's environment, infrastructure, and quality of life, we seek to ensure that any future developments align with the values and needs of our residents. The question on the referendum would be, shall the community enact a moratorium on the construction and operation of AI data centers for purpose? The moratorium aims to protect local resources and infrastructure, ensure transparency and community engagement in decision-making, evaluate the long-term effects of AI data centers on our community, and the voting options would be yes, I support the moratorium on AI data centers, or no, I oppose the moratorium on AI data centers.
Next is Dennis McCarthy, followed by Aaron Regismeyer.
My name is Dennis McCarthy. I live at 3286 West Creekview Parkway. Been a resident of town of Beloit for the past 25 years, and we've raised 6 kids that have graduated through our schools. My grandson currently attends our schools. If there's any question about whether I care about our schools on a personal and professional level, there shouldn't be. When it comes to this project, as a resident, I live 2 miles from this proposed site and a mile from the power plant campus. I'll call it campus because it's expanded significantly since I moved in. I have questions about whether the current infrastructure and power plant can support the power demands, or should we be expecting yet another power plant built in our backyards? That's a huge concern for me. I have questions about our power rates. I have questions about sound impacts, light pollution, air quality issues, heat generation issues, and the impact on our overall water supply, as many of you have heard tonight from others. As a school district superintendent, I've been a superintendent of the school district for the past 20 years. I've never had another reason to apply elsewhere. I don't plan to. I plan to retire here. I'm deeply invested in this community. When it comes to the questions of this proposal, I have the same concerns as I do as a resident, quite frankly. Concerns about potential sound impacts, pollution, remittance into the air, impacts that it could have on our children. Project would appear to have a significant demand on water supply, and I have questions about how that's going to impact the rates of users, including our schools who are high users of water. We really need independent studies done about what this means if you're really looking at something like this. That's what we do. I was taught as a scientist. That's my background. When you're unsure of issues, you study. You don't move forward until you study. I'll give you a quick example. Somebody showed a picture of me from a meeting that took place downtown. I was not invited to that meeting, but they showed me a slide that said it was going to generate approximately 2.2 or 2.3 million in additional revenues for our school. I can tell you that's impossible. That is not how the formula works. The formula is based on per pupil revenue limit increases, which are capped, and it is based on the number of students. There is no way that you can generate $2 million worth of revenue by building something like this that would help our schools. That's just not true at all. That came from this organization. They showed me the slide. Makes me question the organization. I question Alliant. I've sat in a meeting at Rotary where Alliant presented and telling us that you can just push more energy to the grid. This won't be a problem. I'm highly skeptical of that. For me, it's about absolutely that. We hosted a meeting in our school because the town representative asked us to do that. I don't regret hosting the meeting. I regret the way it went and the outcomes of what that meeting were, because I don't think it went the way it was supposed to. Okay? This is probably the meeting that should have taken place in our school. And we'd be happy to hold it.
Hello, Aaron Arnsmeyer, 3494 Fieldcrest Court. Beloit, I've been a resident for 13 years now. Love Beloit. I'm glad I heard about this meeting. I was wasting some brain cells on Instagram earlier today, so I tried to parents, and he told me about it, so I'm going to do my best to keep her moving. I don't want to comment on anything that anybody else has said, because I agree with all of it. You all know as much information as I do. I'm going to talk about money. Not only am I a resident in Beloit, but I work for a small family business. So when I hear about a building, especially a big one going up in Beloit, I get excited. My company provided a seal for the building that we're in right now. I love building up Beloit. I love doing things in Beloit. I would not touch this project with a 10-foot pole. When you talk about it's not a quote, but it's from a documentary I saw a long time ago. I was talking about forward progress. We were talking about it earlier. It says if you're going forward towards a precipice, your only option is not to stop and go backwards. You can just do a 180 and go forwards in a different direction. I think we need a different direction. We can find something to do with this land that benefits everybody in Beloit. Just echo what everyone else has said. We need time. We need data, scientific data, unbiased from outside sources. We need information. We need transparency. When you start a negotiation with an NDA, that really gives me a bad feeling. One of you was talking about Abraham Lincoln earlier today, and this isn't a verbatim quote, but it's one of my favorites. He said that, I trust in the American people. You can call them to do anything. You just got to give them information here. Thank you.
Next is Brian Schaefer, followed by Judy Robson.
She's on her way up.
Judy Robson, 2411 East Ridge Road, Beloit. I'm the state senator, and I represented the town of Beloit for 21 years in the Assembly and the Senate, and I'm pretty grounded in this community. And you've heard the concerns, and you'll continue to hear the concerns raised about environmental problems and the fiscal impact on homeowners and farmers and transparency. And I offer maybe some middle ground. I saw what happened in Turtle, and I looked at the proposal, and I'm making some suggestions, some amendments, and some deletions. Under the agreement, under number three, reimbursement of cost, in the third sentence, it talks about fees for contracting with third-party consultants. I suggest you insert the word environmental consultants. Have them do environmental and also a fiscal impact statement to also look at the impact on homeowners, ratepayers, and on the electric grid right now. That's the first thing. Under number 11, public records, third sentence. it talks about the developer and adhering to public records. The word is may. I would suggest you make that to shall. May is permissive. Shall means they must. They are must required to follow open records. That would be my second suggestion. And the third is under 8, conflict of interest. In the 5th sentence, it talks about after someone works in the town of Beloit and they can't work for Panatonia or a developer after 1 year, I suggest 2 years. That's what the federal government requires. And at the end, it says, certain words I don't quite understand, but it's sort of wishy-washy, without prior written disclosure to the town. I would just end it. They can't move on to work for the developer, period, unless they have 2 years. They don't have to have permission. And
That's time.
the last thing is,
Please extend her time.
it requires, this is a $1 billion company, you're selling yourself short. $250,000 is nothing. You really need a lot more money, but I'll let you decide the amount. And I think with this, you can follow the protocols that you need to do, you can follow the procedures. I would suggest that you pass an 18-month moratorium, let these consultants do their work. This gives you an opportunity to look at your ordinances, to update them as needed to protect the residents as well. And the moratorium would prevent you from being sued. I mean, that threat of suit, I know it always hurts public officials, but if you pass that moratorium, you're protected. So you have the consultants doing their work, you have an opportunity to look at it under this moratorium, then you have an opportunity to review your ordinance as well to protect the citizens and residents. They're going to be building a mini city that requires the electricity of the city of Madison. This is a huge event, as you have heard. So I think we need to put some regulations. I think that this is an opportunity to provide protection and to listen to what the citizens have said about all of the environmental concerns they had. And I'd be happy to give this to your attorney, the words that I have suggested, so that we can work it out. You know, table it for today, look at the words, and then pass the moratorium. You're protected from lawsuits, and let the consultants do their work on the environmental impact. Thank you.
Yeah. Do that. Do that.
Next up is County Supervisor Mike Schwartz, followed by Suzanne Lake. Next would be Suzanne Lake.
Suzanne Wade?
Yeah.
Okay, there's Tom Minor's here.
My name is Tom Miter, and I live here in the city of Beloit. Thank you for give me a chance to speak. 6 months ago, I didn't know much about data centers, and I started hearing about them with Janesville, and also I thought, well, I better check it out. And I've done quite a bit of investigating, and found that I couldn't find any really good news for the citizens of communities where when data centers come to town, water rates often go up. Sometimes, in cases like ours, water may be depleted. We have a pretty good aquifer right now, but when you've got a data center that uses up to 2 million gallons of water a day, which is what the large data centers use, and we will have one of the largest ones in the country. 2 million gallons a day, and that's 24/7. That's not just during agricultural time when farmers might need to use water for irrigation in the summer. This is every month of the year, every day of the year. So I don't think that's hard. I don't see how anybody can take that gamble. Utility rates go up to consumers that live in data center areas. I don't know how the tax things work out, but it doesn't sound like it's a short-term benefit to get some little benefit on your tax to risk the environment of your whole community, considering possible air pollution, definite risk of water contamination. They've got to treat this water after they run it through a data center. You can't just, you've got to treat it because otherwise you'll have heavy metals and forever chemicals. So to make this short, I have a lot more to say, but I'm going to run out of time. So to end this thing, this data center will go, right now it's projected to go on the west side of Prairie Avenue, all the way from Town Line to Philhauer Road, right? And except for a little corner on the southwest side of Philhauer and 51. But the rest of it's going to be an entire data center. It's 1 mile from Philhauer to Town Line. I checked it out with my car. It's like 9.6 tenths of a mile. But it's a huge area. And then on the other side of the road, on the east side of Prairie, Turtle Township is planning, they've got it in their works to have a huge area there. Not quite as big as the Beloit Township, but pretty darn big. But that area just goes on and on and on to the east with farmland. That could end up being massive. I agree with Judy Robson. Let's get a moratorium on this. Let's study it. Let's find out the facts. Let's not rush into this and then be sorry 10 years later. We've got a beautiful township here.
Next here I have Stephanie Lake Wilson, followed by Danielle Jones.
That's me.
Great.
Hi. So, my name is Stephanie Lake Melton. I live at 3328 South Flat, which is about 100 yards from where y'all are going to try to put your little data center, which is actually a hyper data center, which means that it is the biggest that we've ever seen, which means we actually don't have data on that. So everything that you're proposing, everything that Tony's proposing, they don't really know. So that's awesome and exciting. Now, I want to talk about money, because that's really what it's all about, right? And I don't have my glasses, so it's going to get spicy here, okay? So what we need to do is understand, they promise us all this value, right? Tony says, we're going to give you value, we're going to give you value. What is the actual local value look like to us? Like, what community benefits do we actually receive? We need to be sure that we are getting benefit from the massive demands that they are asking us. We need to know that our electricity and water and public infrastructure is going to be protected, and it's not going to end up costing us more, which is what we found with a lot of other places. So I think it's really important that we think about this a much longer time than the next 6 months, okay? So I think that you guys are cheating yourselves if you want to get in bed with these guys for a deal of having them look at, you know, giving you money for you to do research, but you need to do this on your own. Nothing is free, okay? If you get into bed with these guys, you are going to be with them like linked in a bad way for a long time. I lived in this community. A medical provider for people in this community, I probably treated some of y'all, I don't know, but I'm just saying that this city township is so important to me. I thank you for listening to us. I hope you're hearing us, okay? It is super important. Thank you to the couple of people who actually made their stances clear. I'm really sad for the others who chose not to make their stance clear, because you guys have a right to vote and we have a right to know what you're saying. We have a right to vote on y'all, and we need to know what you think and what you're saying. I know some of you guys are hired and you don't really have a choice, and it doesn't matter what we think, but I will tell you that the others of you who chose not to speak, we will remember. Thank you.
Next is Danielle Jones, followed by Kim also.
My name is Danielle Jones. I live at 2480 South Riverside Drive. I've been a township resident for about 15 years. My husband and I, like many Beloit residents, grew up with not.
Good evening. My name is Kim Hausnell, and I live at 3411 WBR Townline Road in Beloit Township. I'd like to briefly comment on the proposed cost agreement. First, I'd like to thank the board members and staff who have engaged in email conversations with me over this topic. I would encourage the board to consider an additional clarification before approving an agreement. While the agreement broadly allows reimbursement for consultants and engineers, I believe it would be beneficial to specifically identify technical studies such as groundwater, hydrogeological studies, baselines, and operational noise studies, vibration studies, environmental reviews, and other technical analyses that the town determines are reasonably necessary. My concern isn't that the town lacks the authority to request these studies. It's, that being more explicit now can reduce the chance of future disagreements over whether a particular study is reimbursable. Clear language helps protect the town by setting expectations from the very beginning. Groundwater studies are especially important because if this project happens to move forward, they can establish baseline conditions before construction begins. If residents later experience well issues, baseline data gives experts a much better opportunity to determine whether those changes may or may not have related to the project. Without those studies, individual homeowners could face significant costs to establish their own baseline data, assuming they even know to do so before the construction begins. The same is true for noise. Baseline and ongoing noise studies provide an objective way to evaluate compliance with any future permanent conditions or agreements and help ensure decisions are based on measurable data rather than assumptions. I know the board has discussed the difficult position the town is in and the risks of litigation. Regardless of where anyone stands on this project itself, I hope you'll consider strengthening this agreement before it is ever signed. A well-written cost agreement can serve as another layer of protection by ensuring the town has the resources to conduct thorough due diligence, protect taxpayers, and make decisions based on sound technical information. Thank you for your time.
Next is Kelly Williams, followed by Sue Bede.
Hi, my name is Kelly Williams at 2321 South Afton Road. I'm here against the idea of rooting this beautiful town you have developed, but with this agreement, I feel like this is the starting point. I understand the benefits of having the information of these studies and ability to have someone support the cost, but the agreement is too broad. There is $250,000 in that account, but
they're able to argue like what that you are going, like dispute the charges. So there is zero guarantee for the town to even get paid back.
I strongly believe that it's in the best interest of everyone involved to either deny this agreement or go back and be specific about what they are paying for, how much they are going to pay for, and what tests are going to be involved. You cannot allow any wiggle room or broad statements, because then these rich lawyers and companies will find any loophole not to pay for it. And then it's on us. If you sign this reimbursement agreement, you'll also expect something out of it, such as approval of this project. Unfortunately, this is what the world has come to. You do me a favor, I do you a favor. This is how the rich keep getting richer and communities end up losing more than just money. Before you vote, please think about your families and what you want your future to look like. And remember, not every company is truly looking out for the community's best interest. Money talks and gets what people want, no matter the destruction that they have.
My name is Sue Fugate, 2771 South Mohican Drive, here in the town of Beloit. I couldn't be more proud of all these people. So thank you all for showing up and for speaking up. It's wonderful. And I don't know if it's unanimous. I was outside with the overflow crowd here, probably about 500 people. And all I'm saying is thank you for listening. Thank you for putting this on the agenda at long last. It's been since March that we've asked for that.
Right.
And thank you so much for hearing from every single person. We really appreciate it. And we hope you vote no and halt this project entirely. Don't spin on to the next developer and the next developer and the next developer. We're not interested. This is not a fit for the town of Beloit.
Lastly, here I have a request here from Keith Hassel.
Good evening, my name is Keith Oswald. I live at 7770 South Ladders Road, Beloit. I'm in the town of Turtle. I would first like to say thank you all very, very much for listening to everybody tonight. It's a breath of fresh air compared to what we've gone through in the town of Turtle. So I grew up in northern Wisconsin, right? So I kind of fancy myself a northern Wisconsin kid, but you know, when I look back and realize I've lived down here a heck of a lot longer than I did up there, and my kids grew up here, this is home, right? It's home. And it doesn't matter if you live in northern Wisconsin or southern Wisconsin, this is the greatest state of all 50, right? We have clean water, we have clean air, we have all the outdoor activities you could possibly hope for. Growing up here is an absolute blessing, right? So having our homes here, having our families here is so important, and it's amazing how fragile that is, right? How fragile that can be by making one bad decision. So as I sat in the town of Turtle meetings and I listened to our chairman open the meeting on this and say, my mind's already made up. That's not very encouraging, right? So we had a pretty bad meeting there. Our town board was split, but it was really clear what was going to happen regardless of all of the public people who were there voicing their opinions. Our attorney, who shall remain nameless, advocated for this agreement with the town board in front of everybody, even though it wasn't even a final agreement. It was a red line version of a maybe final agreement, and that's what they voted on and that's what they approved. So we're taking their money. Being a kid from the 80s, I remember one thing very clear, just say no, right? It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, just say no, right? But Don't say no for no reason. Say no for all of these people in the room. Say no for all these people who have families and all these people who have invested in this community to build homes and build a life, who want to be here, who want to stay here, and want to make this community more than it is today. Beloit's come so far in the 30 years I've been here. It really is impressive. It's a great place to hang your hat. It's a great place to call home. And I thank you all for listening.
Thank you all for speaking, thank you all for sharing your feelings and your expectations. At this time, we do have regular town business. You're welcome to stay for that if you wish.
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
I have one question related to some of the things that were brought up here. If I could ask John, is John on board with?
Yeah, John, I am here.
Okay. There was a group that we hired to do this independent, unbiased study and answer a lot of our questions. They were supposed to be here tonight. Where are they?
So what happened, John, until the agreement was passed and we were able to negotiate agreement with them, their legal counsel did not want them making a presentation to us. The reimbursement agreement passed. They wanted us to negotiate a contract with them defining the scope of work that they were going to perform for us. And then they were willing to come in and do a presentation for us.
Shady.
Please come to order.
You've answered my question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. News to me. And that would be it for now.
Moving on to our regular business, we do have an application for the license to serve for liquor, malt beverages and intoxicating liquors. Lindsay Elliott, is there a motion?
I would move to approve the application as presented.
Second. I second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the application for license to serve fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquors to Lindsay Helgeson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you. Next is purchase orders and bills. Are there any questions on those? Is there a motion?
Fire chief, I have a question for the chief. Was the pump controller replacement scheduled?
No, those are typically emergency.
This was? Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve purchase orders and bills as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the purchase orders and bills as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thanks. Next is new business. Discussion and possible action on the cost reimbursement agreement with Panatoni Development.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone the discussion and action on the Panatoni cost reimbursement agreement to the August 3rd, 2026 Town Beloit Board of Supervisors meeting.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Oh. Chair Greenlee.
Yes.
Just vote on it already.
Supervisor Pellet.
Aye.
Supervisor McMillan.
Yes.
Supervisor Northrup.
Yes.
Supervisor Walrat.
Yes.
That's everybody.
Motion passes.
I'll say.
Motion to table this action on the cost reimbursement agreement will give us an opportunity to further consult with our attorneys to implement some of the suggestions that have been made regarding safeguards. I appreciate everybody's input, and this is something that we will take under further consideration before making any commitments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They'll vote, they'd have to vote on it. Yeah. Yeah, unless they decide to move it someplace bigger. Yeah, I mean, and this